So I want to talk a little bit about the battery here. So this is a 1600 milliamp battery, and from my experience I was recording 1080p at 60 frames per second, and looking back at the videos that I recorded, the duration, it said it recorded an hour and 5 minutes on one single charge. So the battery lasts a good hour and 5 minutes from my experience, and I did it about 3 times, and that was the range that it came within, was an hour and 5 minutes to an hour. I did get an extra battery here for $5 at GearBest, and so that will allow me 2 hours of recording. Now when I do 2 hours of recording at 1080p 60 frames per second, it recorded about 25 to 28 gigabytes of files. So looking at that measurement, it'll about a 64 gigabyte card is enough. Now I have a 128 gigabyte card in here, and so I'm able to record and retain a lot more, twice the amount. But what I find with my experience with the battery, in that if I'm only able to record 1 hour per battery charge, and it takes about 25 gigabytes to 28 gigabytes, maybe I don't need such a high capacity micro SD card. So you'll have to measure that out yourself. I do have a 128 in here, as I mentioned, but for the most part I find that to be unnecessary. I find that the 64 gigabyte would have been sufficient. Now, one thing about the Wi-Fi is the Wi-Fi does drain a lot of the battery, so I don't find the Wi-Fi being very useful. Now, one thing about the Wi-Fi is you have to use the Wi-Fi to set the time, so just keep that in mind. Obviously, that's only a one-time thing, but I thought I'd like to mention that. But for the most part, this has surprisingly good battery life, and lasted a good 1 hour for me per charge. Now, it does take a long time to charge these when you plug it into your computer, USB. So I would recommend using one of those Android wall warts, and because the Android is the 1 amp, so just use your Android and plug it into an outlet, your Android wall wart, and just plug it into an outlet, and you'll find that it charges in about 2 hours versus a good 6-7 hours if you use the computer USB. And that's really all I wanted to mention, and thank you for watching.